Hello my honeys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing something you guys have been requesting for a long time, which is a get ready with me cosplay edition video. I cosplay every single month, like once a month I do a set for my Patreon. It's super exclusive. I don't really talk about it on YouTube too much. I really keep it strictly to like Twitter and then like my cosplay Instagram because it's super niche and it's definitely not for everyone. But you guys always enjoy the makeup that I do for my cosplay look, so I figured I would take you along today to show you the makeup that I'll be doing for today's look. And if you know what character it is just by what's going on already, then you are my person. But for everyone that doesn't know, I am cosplaying this month Albedo from Overlord, the anime series. She's a really trendy character. Her character design is really fun and also quite simple, and I'm super excited to do her look today. The wig will be fixed up for the end video when I show the final result. I just want all the hair out of the way, neat and tidy. Everything I made myself. Is just a really quick cosplay. I will insert some photos from the shoot at the end of the video as well, so you guys can see the complete final result of how this look turned out. But anyway, let's get started. I'm gonna be using my Rom and cushion today because it's just quick and convenient. As you guys know, this month has been really busy for me, so it's actually been really hard to get around to just doing this cosplay. I originally wanted to do it like early December, mid-December, but it's just been, wow, crazy busy with being sick, with running my business, with everything associated to the business, and so I don't really have too much time to get this done, and I was honestly starting to get super stressed out about it. But I think what's gonna be fun is that I set up a whole, you guys saw in the Vlogmas series, I made a whole Christmas themed set in my room, and the purpose was to utilize that not only for myself to bring me joy, but also for Glow Atelier content, which I didn't end up getting around to. I could have bought the horns on Amazon, but the thing is, like, there's not, even though you can get a lot of like complete cosplay looks on Amazon, they're not really, they're always like drop shipped. And so they end up taking a long time to get to you. So most of the time, like, I come up with my decision for what character I'm going to do kind of like right before the month begins, which I really need to plan characters in advance. Taking the Too Faced Born This Way concealer in Snow, it's my go-to because it's so big and I have so much of it. I generally do my makeup kind of heavy for cosplay shoots because I want it to really look perfect in all the lighting. You guys, can you believe, you probably don't even know this, but I've been doing cosplay now for 2 full years. It's gone by so fast. And for the actual makeup part, for the eyes, I pretty much always use a reference photo from Pinterest. Here's my reference photo that we're going to be doing for the makeup today. It's really mostly just going to be specific shading, blush location, and then doing like kind of a really straight thick eyeliner. Using this one right here. Kind of like under the eyes. For my contact lenses for this look, I'm just using my Lil Moon Rusty Beige lenses. They're kind of a light beige. They're not as yellowy as like the character herself, which you could totally do. You could buy like actual cosplay lenses, but I didn't feel, nah. And even though this fan art doesn't show it, I have noticed in the anime series, because I have been watching it of course, noticed that Albedo has kind of like slack eyes. I know there's a proper term for the type of eye shape, but they're usually like downturned a little bit at the outer corners. So I'm going to try to mimic that kind of like pull down at the outer corners by putting a darker shade right on the outer corner and pulling it low, much lower than I normally would. So this is just the Innisfree My Eyeshadow in number 14. It's like just a rusty beige shade. I'm gonna kind of be mimicking where I put it for the blush. I don't want to apply too much, so I'm just gonna do like a little bit. It's like sinking into my natural eye bag. And again, just really lightly, not like applying it too heavily. Honestly, one of my favorite things about cosplaying, aside from doing like the costume, is really just the actual makeup and dressing up aspect of it. Like, That's why I got into makeup YouTube originally in the first place, just because I just loved dressing up so much. It was like my favorite thing to do. And so doing that with cosplay has really, personally for me, filled like a huge, huge necessity in like my life. So even though like I'm not like a big, super known cosplayer, it doesn't really matter too much to me, because it's mostly for me that I do it, because it really just fills that need for creativity and dressing up and doing makeup and creating. It's really like sticking to that one part of my, or is that just my natural eyeshadow? Like eye bag. It might just be my natural eye bag. Let's just put some more. And let's do some contour now that my base makeup has synced into my skin a little bit. This is my favorite Realm and contouring powder in the shade Light. If anyone's wondering how I made the horns at Michael's, there's, what? Oh, you cannot. You want in? Yes, come on. Every kitty ever is in my room now. Okay, welcome. Don't nibble on my wings. I have my wings on. Because I would not have been able to get into, stop nibbling on me. I would not have been able to get into my dress if I didn't put my wings on first. I've always been like so jealous of like cosplayers that live in like locations that have access to like special cosplay studios, and everywhere I've lived those just aren't readily available. They don't even exist. Like it's all very dedicated to like influencer, blogger, businesses, and like people wanting to do like engagement shoots or lifestyle shoots and stuff like that. And so I've always been jealous of like those cosplayers that have access to those really fun, unique photo studios that work for like cosplay and theme stuff or music videos. And then like the more and the longer I've done cosplay, the more I realized how long the getting ready and the setup takes, that it's pretty much would be like next to impossible for me to shoot in an actual studio if I didn't arrive at the studio perfectly in my complete cosplay. Because the whole just getting the outfit on takes so long. I don't know how it takes so long. I want to heavily contour my nose today for that anime look. Taking whatever's left over on my brush. I think this whole like headpiece, like the wig plus the horns, are gonna give me such a headache today. I'm taking this Majorca frosted white eyeshadow, if I could get it open, inner corner. So another reason why like I opted to not really often book studios, not only is that they're expensive, like it's $100 an hour on average, if not more, but I like taking my time, and especially since I self-shoot all my cosplay sets, like sometimes HoneyBii helps, but mostly it's me with a remote control. It takes way longer to get all the shots that I need. So there's no way I could fathom that much money spent on a studio. Imagine if it took me 3 hours to get all the shots I needed. That's like a $300, if not more. Studio time? No way. No way, Jose. Impossible for me. So I generally usually make my own sets at home, which kind of on average costs me maybe anywhere from $60 to $70 to make. And I turn one of my spare rooms into a little photo studio. Taking my Misha Glitter Prism Liquid in 02. I love this so much. I'm just gonna do it where I usually do my eye glitters. This looks so good in photos, like so good. Usually just looks good all the time, who am I kidding? It's funny, I actually saw a TikTok a couple days ago, and it was like a girl doing like saying like showing herself behind the scenes doing like a self-portrait shoot, and the caption was like doing my once a month self-portrait session to help build confidence. And I was like, oh my god, it's like literally like doing cosplay. Like it makes you feel so good to dress up and just like have fun and feel pretty and feel special, and it's just so much fun. And that really resonated with me. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's just doing self-portraits, she should try cosplay. It's like a whole other level of that. This is the Sun in Park liquid eyeliner. It's really thick and chunky and good if you're doing like a big graphic eyeliner, which I'm going to try to do today. There was a kitty in here, now there's no longer a kitty in here. Now the fun part, actually making your eyeliner match. Oh my gosh, okay. Wish I had cosplay friends. It would be so much fun. Imagine doing like a collab cosplay shoot. Like, that would be so much fun. Taking my Heroine Make Auto Eyebrow in the 04 shade. I'm just gonna define a little bit of an extended aegyo cell here. I might need to go darker. I don't think that's gonna show up. Instead, we're taking the Nude by Nature kohl pencil in Espresso. Favorite kohl pencil ever. And just like this pointed angled eyeliner brush. I find when you're trying to locate your natural aegyo cell, just slightly squint your eyes and then continue the line where it disappears naturally. Follow the direction it was going in. You could also use like a brown liquid eyeliner for this step, but I personally don't like the harshness of a liquid eyeliner for my aegyo cell. Oh my god, I remember back in the day when like people started just learning about like Korean terms for like makeup application, and so many people were like getting mad at me because I was like calling it and doing aegyo cell, and I'm like, it's just makeup. Anybody can accentuate their eye bag if they want. Like, relax. That was like a million years ago though, like over 10 years ago. Actually no, even 10 years ago people were still like getting angry about that kind of stuff. I mean, people probably are still getting angry about it to this day, which blows my mind. Feels like a whole other lifetime ago. Oh my god, I had the craziest thought today. I was thinking, because like the new Avatar movie came out, and I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, that was totally like 10 years ago, I think. Like when the first Avatar came out, and it like is my, like, it still is one of my like favorite movies of all time. And I was like, holy crap, I was 2 years out of high school then. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's been 10 years since that movie. And the second one came out like recently. And I'm like, that's hitting a whole new generation of people. Like if people were born like in 2012 and then they're 10 years old and watching the second Avatar and it's like blowing their minds. I wonder if James Cameron did that on purpose. I wonder if that's why he waited over 10 years, because there's no way it required 10 years to create that movie. Like there's no way. Did he specifically do that to hit a new generation of people to make fans? It's kind of like a thought that came in my head. And if so, it's very smart of him. He's hitting off like generations of people. I love that Kate Winslet's in it. I'm like really eager. So I'm taking that same like Heroine Make Auto Eyebrow and I'm just using it for my eyebrows now. I'm not going to fill them in too much, just like kind of just really the center parts. Because, you know, anime always have really thin eyebrows. I might try to like draw this kind of scoop upwards line in my eyebrow. It's a little bit hard to see because in the anime, Albedo often has this like this kind of face, which I don't have the eyebrow muscles to do that kind of like facial expression. So instead, let's try to draw it on. It looks like super blocky and meh in reality, but with all the lighting and the photography, it's gonna look so like soft and natural. So I'm probably not gonna do falsies because I just feel like they turn like every look into like a super heavy look. So I'm just gonna do mascara. But if you wanted to like really up the ante for this look, you could definitely use falsies. But for me, it's not really my style. I saw this like news post somewhere, I can't remember where, but it was like a woman suing a makeup company because she hurt her eye using an eyelash curler. And I'm like, use at your own risk. Like, obviously, anybody can hurt themselves using an eyelash curler. Like, you can go too close to the eye and clamp your skin. You can, accidentally pull or yank or lose your hand and pull out your lashes and hurt yourself. Like, duh. Can you imagine? Like, it's like one of the things that is so scary about like having a business or a brand is that like people will look for any reason to like sue a business. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, not stupidness, but kind of like a better way, a better word for that. But they're for their own inability to use something correctly. Like, use it, like, you can hurt yourself on anything. Like, you can literally hurt yourself on absolutely anything in the world. And it's like, why? Like, I'm so, like, I can't even imagine how frustrating that legal team must be for that company. Like, I don't know what company it was, but how frustrating it'd be to deal with that case. And it's like, are you... Yeah, dressing up and cosplaying does bring me a whole lot of joy. And even though, like, sometimes, like, this month, for example, and, like, the really busy months where I'm feeling, like, overwhelmed with my own workload, like, it can give the feeling that, like, it's another thing on the list of 1,000,005 things for me to do, and sometimes it really, like, makes it feel overwhelming. But, like, it brings me so much joy when I actually get around doing it, and so much, like, happiness that, like, even if it comes with a side of stress photo shooting, like, it just brings me so much joy that it's like it's worth it every single month, even when I'm like super busy. Like, did I give myself like ultra sad eyes? I don't know. The eyebrows don't match the picture above, but trust me, in the anime she's always going like, it's crazy how like better everything looks with makeup. Okay, we're gonna highlight my cheekbones. I'm gonna be using my Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Moonstone Discontinued, but like a classic. I just can't believe how many brands like shut down because of the pandemic. Like, Becca was like one of the all-time like most selling makeup brands, and it was like always in Sephora for forever, and then they just like, no, didn't make it. Just going to set my face. For cosplay shoots, I do use a lot of setting powder. I mean, definitely not as much as like drag makeup would require, but like it's still kind of the same thing, like performance makeup. Partial baking, because like one of the things I never like doing is like having to touch up my makeup during a shoot. Like, I'll usually touch up my lips because I always have a few drinks while I'm shooting, because like there was like a few cosplay shoots I didn't have a few drinks during, and like the difference in the energy and the whole vibe the shoot was giving off just wasn't there. It just was totally different than my usual vibe, and I was like, holy crap, this just like, it's crazy how much more like confident you are when you have like a few drinks when you're doing a photo shoot. I've modeled before, and quite a few times. Like, I actually can't quite count the amount of times I've actually legitimately modeled. And I did most of my modeling jobs, switch powder my face, over the past 2 years, or past 3 years, I guess you could say now, when I was living in Toronto. And I never shared any of them, because like usually when you do like a modeling job, it's for like a line of clothing that hasn't come out yet, or like a skincare product or brand that hasn't come out yet. So I never ended up sharing any of it. And then like there was like one company that actually like informed all the models of the shoot that they officially launched. And I was like, oh, okay, so if I wanted to share it, I could, but I didn't like how the photos turned out. I was like not in the mood that day. Like, I was so exhausted. It was so rainy and dark and cloudy. I just wasn't feeling it at all. And I could kind of feel that. In the shoot, like in the photos. My friend Liz is a photographer, a professional photographer, and she does like shoot for like clients and stuff like that. And so she would, if she felt I matched a shoot, she would like recommend me as a model, and more often than not I would be selected, which I'm so grateful for. But sometimes if I wasn't in the mood, or if I knew what the vibe would be, I'd have like maybe a shot or like one drink of wine or something before I went, to help like keep me lighthearted and like, having a good time through it. It really does make a world of difference, especially for us introverted folks. For the lips, I'm just gonna do what I normally do. Because of course, like in an anime, you don't actually really ever see lip color. So I'm taking my MAC Strip Down. And I love filling in the Cupid's bow. Outer corners. Since Albedo is a double, I'm gonna be extending my lip line because I feel like that's like kind of a vampy look. Taking my nose contour brush, I'm just gonna blend. And then I'll be going in with my new favorite lip tint, which is the Rom and Canyon 21 in the Dewy Full Water tint. And I like to let that sit on my lips so that it absorbs a bit of the tint before I start like blending it away, especially when I do my cosplay shoots. And then during the shoot, I put like a topper lip gloss on, just in case. I know my horns aren't equal. It's okay. Photoshop can fix that. This is it for the makeup look. I'm gonna go take my horns off, fix up my hair, and then come back and show you guys the final look with the hair in the way that Albedo has it. And there is the final look. I think the hardest thing is gonna be this like front hair. Getting that to actually stay in a good placement without like having to cement it down to my face, which I don't want to do. So I'll probably just like end up thinning it out or like putting less of it. If I like clip it up like that, so it's like connected to my other hair, so that way it doesn't like flop so much. I don't know.